Okay, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're here for Oregairu 2. That's right, not Oregairu 2. Oregairu 2. We're here for Oregairu 2, Episode 2. Such a funny name to say. Last episode, we got introduced to the new animation style. I love it. I think it looks fantastic. As I stated like a billion times last reaction, I don't hate the original style. I think it looked great. But this is so much better. It looks phenomenal, like genuinely phenomenal. It looks really good. So we're currently trying to set up Tobei and Ebina on this school field trip. We actually got a lot of development in the way of Yukino and Yui both sticking up for Hikigaya, kind of to show him. I loved one of your guys' comments that they were sticking up for him in a way to show him that it's not okay to constantly be okay with getting trounced on all over and over again. With Yukino, it's like Yukino and Yui sometimes their insults are more playful than anything. They're not straight up on his character, like, they are, but it's like not meant to hurt him, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Like, it's almost playful, but at the same time it's kind of not. It's really hard. They toe the line, but when somebody comes in and directly disrespects him like Tobei was doing, they stood up for him. For the first time. And one, it goes to show how much they've grown as friends. Two, I think it goes to show that maybe they're not doing it intentionally, but they are trying to prove a point to Hikigaya that it's not okay to constantly be okay with getting put down. That was fantastic. I actually teared up at it. If you go watch that reaction, you'll see me do that. I genuinely teared up. It actually got me a little bit. I'm excited to see where this episode goes. Ebina and Tobei, I think calling it a match made in heaven would be so far off that it would just be bad to say it, so I'm not gonna call it that. We'll see how it goes, though. Without further ado, let's hop straight into Oregairu Season 2. I did it, man. See, I held myself back in the beginning from saying Season 2. Oregairu 2, Episode 2. The heck? What is that? Recommended. So she wants him to get her these souvenirs on the trip. Raw? He can't bring home raw food. The little head nod. Oh, she didn't do it. Wait, what? Komachi's recommended souvenirs list. Number 3, fresh Yatsu Hashi, which is what she said. Secret ancient Japanese facial paper. Number 1, after the commercial break. What? Interesting way to break the fourth wall there. Oh god, Hikigaya is waking up in the company of Totsuka. Why does Totsuka do this? This is not the first time Totsuka's done this. Totsuka does this all the time. Anytime he falls asleep, he's saying Hachiman's name over and over and over and over again. It's just like he constantly dreams of him or something. Oh my god, you two are so close. Oh my god, what if they fall asleep playing cards and Tobei's ass is out? That's a much more ominous sounding Hachiman. It is currently 5:20 a.m. I could not fall asleep. So, what is the first thing that came to my mind to do? Instead of, like maybe taking some sleeping medicine or something? First thing that came to my mind was to watch some Oregairu. I don't know what I'm doing either, but we're here. So if I sound ever so slightly delusional, it's because I'm running on like no sleep whatsoever right now. This right here is also really interesting to me. Yui and Yukino walking away from each other. Really makes me wonder what that's all about. They're clinging onto him. Ebina back there loving it. Kawasaki's just yanking his jacket off. Just literally has it all the way off of his shoulder holding onto it. Those really scary people. That goes totally against his personality. Ow! Ow! This like perfectly personifies everybody's personalities here. Yui is utterly terrified. Hikigaya is a little disturbed, but he's not like that crazy. Kawasaki just looks pissed, which she looks pissed most of the time. And then Totsuka is just loving it, which technically doesn't go with his personality because his personality is very cute. Tomboy is just the wrong word. Tomboy is a word used to describe girls. A very feminine, like, whatever you want to describe Totsuka's personality as. Liking a thing like this is the total opposite, but it goes with what he just said. He said that he enjoys this kind of thing. Oh my god, she is sprinting at it. Damn, he got away from that head pat real quick. She was about to lean and give him a hug. Are you okay? You okay? Hell no, bitch. Oh! And she took the hand. See, I feel like that was a normal gesture. I love that. Hikigaya did that without even thinking. He even caught himself off guard. The character development is moving so quickly, Hikigaya even caught himself off guard there by doing that. But that's a normal gesture. Helping a friend up, even if that friend is a girl, helping a friend up is not, like, too forward. Of course, Hikigaya is all very nervous about doing stuff like that, so to him it is. But that's a natural thing to do, and that's why Yui just took his hand and stood up. But also we know at this point Yui definitely has some sort of crush on him. Hikigaya immediately blushes as soon as Totsuka runs over. He's like, that was really fun, guys, right? Yes. Kawasaki's like crying over there. Oh, look at those two enjoying themselves over there. It definitely didn't. From what we saw, it just looked like Ebina was just following behind, smiling the entire haunted house. So I don't think it had any effect. Where's Hayato off to? Sounds like an old man. Okay, hello, Yukino. Yes, probably. Oh god, everybody's getting them weird looks. But at the end of the day, Yukino couldn't give a shit about that. She doesn't care if they see her hanging out with Hikigaya. Much in the same way that Hikigaya doesn't care about what I was talking about in the beginning, how Hikigaya doesn't care that he's put down by other people. Yukino doesn't give a what other people see, at least on the exterior. Yukino, we learned last season towards the end, like episode 10, 11, and onward, is a much more fragile. Fragile still seems like the wrong word because Yukino's a very headstrong character. Fragile, I guess, could be a good word to describe her at the same time. We just learned that there's a lot more to her that we don't know whatsoever. Yukino's gonna join us for a little bit. Yay! Is it Yumiko? Yeah, it is Yumiko. Yeah. I think that's why Hayato... Was that why Hayato left? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Is that why, like, Hikigaya looked over at Hayato, like, going away? And then... Because Yumiko was like, I'll go get Ebina, but Hayato left to give them some privacy. Well, because obviously Hayato knows. Because the whole first episode, Tobei went into the service club with Hayato. So Hayato knows the whole situation that they're trying to set him up. But Yumiko does not know that. I don't know if places that you would like Yukino is going to be anything that like a normal high school girl would like. Yukino's really changed a lot, man. The fact that she's able to go around just smiling casually around Hikigaya and Yui and saying like, Yui's like, I'll see you tomorrow, and she's like, yep, see you tomorrow, with a big grin on her face. Like, that is already drastically different than when we started last season. Oh, that would be Yumiko. Hikyo? Oh god, so it's not that she can't get a clue. She knows exactly what she can tell something is going on. I wonder if we're gonna get a little Yumiko development. I feel like out of that friend group, she's the one we've seen the least of. We had that one tennis episode with her, but really, besides that and like this one of the summer camp episodes, we haven't seen much of her. We've seen more of Ebina and Tobei than we have of Yumiko, which is very interesting to me. To be fair, Yumiko is... So, she sees something's going on, but she's got the wrong idea, basically. Yumiko is like Ebina's best friend, essentially, so it makes sense that she would be able to pick up on things like this, but she's picked up on it in the wrong way. It's about to hurt me. Yeah, okay, Hikigaya getting the wrong idea here. But the way she phrased it was like a little weird. If you're with Yui, you should know about Ebina. Yeah, we do know about her. We know probably a little too much about Ebina. Yeah, Yumiko is joining the club of people who like to talk directly down to Hikigaya. As long as she's not talking. When did Hayato say he'd do something about it? Maybe, I don't know, maybe he said something off camera. I'm gonna get that whole scene again though, because I want to really ingest what they just said. If you had to sacrifice many things to protect one, you're more likely to give it up and throw it away. It's fairly true. It's a fairly true statement. The more things you have to sacrifice for one specific thing, the more likely you are to cast aside that one specific thing, because it's making you sacrifice all these other things in the first place, including the relationships you have in your hand now. Oh, let's see how it plays out. I do think that from that one scene, I do feel I was literally just talking about this, that we haven't gotten enough development for Yukino, Yumiko, and that felt like I felt like that scene right there just fleshed out her character a lot more than this entire series has so far. Just that one scene, even though she might have been talking down to Hikigaya, which I don't like, it fleshed out her character as she talked about her best friend and how deeply she seems to know her and these different things that she's already gone through the process of and is trying to tell Hikigaya it doesn't work. Is Yukino okay over there? Oh god. She keeps coming to him to ask how the guys are doing. What is with that face? Just that straight face. There's definitely a deeper meaning to that face. The way she's just got like this straight smile. I'm not gonna let that... I don't want to let that just sit, but I'm not exactly sure what it means just yet. And why she's asking so intently on like how the guys are doing obviously would make sense with her character, as she has way too many gay fantasies. But at the same time, man, that serious face of hers is throwing me for a loop here. Could I be looking into this way too deeply? Yes, I do that a lot with these kinds of shows. But, I don't know. We'll see. She took one bite of, like, every food. Now he folds. There you go. Split it right in half for him. Oh my god. This piano. Are they... Why does this piano sound like a pianoed version of one of the openings or one of the endings? Or like a very slowed down pianoed version of one of the OPs? I swear it sounds like the first OP, but I feel like I'm so off about that. It's just, that piano is really pretty and it caught my ear. So I thought it like connected to something, but maybe it doesn't. It's probably just a pretty piano soundtrack. Oh, giving him another half. Yui appreciates them enjoying the food she gave. Look at this group of three. They're so cute. I love how much their friend group has grown, man. I love how much their friend group has grown. Like, it just, oh my god. It's just so soul-warming. After all of the goddamn drama this group went through in Season 1, it is so, and I'm sure they're gonna go through a ton of more drama this season. Don't think I'm saying I'm not expecting a lot more drama this season, but just for this moment, this peace and tranquility with this group is all I could ask for. They went through so much drama in Season 1, and they're finally just together as friends. The whole thing with Yui, and Hikigaya saving her dog, that whole incident that led up until episodes 5 and 6, where things kind of fell apart for a little bit, and then the finding out Yukino was the one in the car, and she didn't tell him, that led to a little awkwardness there. But finally, we get just some cute, wholesome moments with them. You know, it's really gonna kill me when he ends up picking one of them at the end of this show. It's gonna happen, obviously. The two main girls, Yukino and Yui, and then Hikigaya, he's gonna pick one of them eventually, I feel. Like, that's the direction this series is heading. Like, I feel like that's been obvious since the first episode. That's gonna kill me. That is seriously going to kill me when that happens. To be confessed. And Yukino, just all business. The title of this episode is something very ominous. You know what? The title of this episode is His and Her Love Confessions Will Reach No One. Ominous title! Wasn't Hayato supposed to do something? Wasn't that what Hikigai said? Hayato's gonna do something? He's not wrong. So, I see Hayato's point of view here. So, earlier in the episode, Hikigai, I think, when he was saying somebody's not getting the point, I don't know if he was talking about Hayato there. I still think it's possible he was referencing, maybe he was referencing both. I don't know. But it seems like Hayato is trying everything in his power to stop Tobe. And, like, there, he walked in and he was gonna say something to Tobe, but he saw how nervous he was and how, like, excited he was at the same time, and he couldn't bring himself to tell him not to do it, or whatever. Like he said here, he's already told him countless times not to do it, because he doesn't think she'll accept it. And I agree. I don't think so either. As much as I think it'd be interesting, I don't think she's going to. She's not that... From everything we have seen about Ebina, I'm not going to sit here and make assumptions about her character, because we really haven't seen a whole time, but from everything we've seen, I don't think the confession would go well. Which is fine. Like Hikigai said, if the friendship falls apart because a confession goes through badly, then I don't want to call that friendship superficial, but it's definitely not as strong as some friendships can be. I think it's entirely possible to confess to or even date somebody in a friend group, break up, and then still be friends. I think it's entirely possible. But calling it completely superficial if they fall apart at the same time, I don't think is correct either. Because I think at the same time, if you were to confess to somebody and they reject you, I think it's totally natural to not want to associate with that person anymore, maybe. Maybe you feel uncomfortable, things are just really awkward, maybe you need some time away. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, you could always come back together and be friends again in the future. Maybe you just need some time away. But obviously, like Hayato says, he doesn't want their group to fall apart because he really likes how things are right now. Which I can understand his point of view as well, but I think trying to step in and stop them is probably not the best thing to do, because then Tobe is just going to linger this for longer and longer and it's going to boil over. But at the same time, I hate this because I can understand, I can reason Hayato's side too. I think stepping in could keep their friend group together. It's a really complicated issue. I don't think there's one good answer. Like Hikigai saying it's completely superficial, I don't think is correct, but Hayato trying to interfere, I could see being a good option, but I also don't fully agree with either. That's one detail I love about Oregairu, is that you can never fully agree with one person. Everybody has good parts and bad parts to their arguments. Like Hayato, like the line on here, the line on the screen right now, Hikigai is saying, pretty selfish thing to say. Yes, it is. It is a selfish thing for Hayato to want to stop Tobe from confessing to keep their friend group the way it is. It is selfish. But at the same time, I could see how it could keep their friend group together and stop future problems from happening. But as I said before, it could also cause more problems. There's no good option here. Because I do agree with Hayato in that Hina is more than likely going to reject him. That is her first name. Hina, and it's... Ebina is her last name, Hina is her first name, whatever. I think this is going to be interesting how this turns out. I have no idea what they're going to do. It seems like Hayato can't bring himself to fully stop Tobe, which is totally in his nature. That's exactly the kind of good person he is. The fact that he even came up with a selfish idea like trying to stop Tobe in the first place, I'm surprised, because that's so unlike him. He's so, selfless, I guess. But I think being selfish in this situation is perfectly fine. I think it's perfectly reasonable to not want to see your friend get hurt. I think it's perfectly reasonable for all of these things, which is why I can't pick a side. I don't know whose side I don't know whose side I would be on in this situation. But it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I think I'm actually going to go back and watch that scene again, because that was really good. I liked all the dialogue they had going on there. There's a big part of Hikigai's personality rearing its head there, talking about how he doesn't even understand how he can enjoy this superficial relationship. Because to Hikigaya, like, superficial relationships are literal hell, and he tries to avoid them with anybody at all costs. He's only recently found relationships that he wouldn't call superficial in Yukino and Yui. After all of the goddamn drama they went through in Season 1, he has finally come to the conclusion that they are just might not be superficial. I also agree with what Hayato's saying there. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, so I don't want my friend to go rushing in when maybe somewhere down the line she could open up to him. The future is so unknown, especially in high school, that you just can't ever be sure. So he doesn't want him to rush into something and get himself hurt. What I do doesn't matter. And it's pointless to talk about. Jeez. Yep, and I don't need to. Whew, man, that was really good. That was really good. Oh, dude, I have like chills. That was amazing. That was really good. I don't even know what to say. I'm kind of like speechless after that scene. Hayama and Hikigai's relationship has been anything but pretty recently. It's actually been very sour ever since like episode 12, and even before that. They kind of had their disagreements every now and then. Like, towards the end of the summer camp arc, like, at the very end when him and Hayato had that conversation, they were okay. They weren't, like, buddy-buddy, but they weren't, like, at each other's throats like they are now. Their ideologies are so vastly different. It's kind of insane. They're almost like foils of each other, which I think is so crazy to have foils of each other interacting so often. Like, they are quite literally foils of each other. Now that I think about it, they pretty much are. I'm gonna get some of those quotes again here. The fact that Hikigai is, like, here saying how I think or feel means nothing whatsoever. Once again, perfectly in line with his mindset right now. This line from Hayato here, you're the last person I ever wanted to turn... Okay, I added the ever in there, but... the last person I wanted to turn to. Because, I mean, at this point, he's kind of out of advice. Hikigaya, probably not the best person to go to for advice, at least not at the moment. Because he's just going to tell you to burn it all down, basically, or just let people do their thing and not interfere, because that's very much like Hikigaya. But as we've learned, yeah, the feeling is mutual, idiot. Jesus. I've never even heard Hikigaya insult somebody like that, outside of, like, Yukino or Yui. This insult sounds like it actually has meaning behind it. Because he considers all relationships superficial, he can't even begin to understand why Hayato would want to protect something like that in the first place. Because to Hikigaya, if it falls apart after something like this, then it's just superficial. It meant nothing. If it falls apart after something like this confession that's about to happen here, then that relationship means nothing. So to Hikigaya, he doesn't understand what Hayato wants to protect whatsoever. Well, oh my god, everybody is here to watch this confession. What is this, like, battle soundtrack that's playing right now? Even Yukino showed up to see it. The way he trots away. I am not. Oh god. At this point, oh wow. 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 Oh man. Okay. Man. God, so much development in one episode. It's like slapping me in the face. Jesus Christ. So, every time Hikage has come up with a plan throughout the entirety of season 1, everybody's kind of looked at him like, oh god, what's Hikage gonna do now? But Yukino and Yui have come to trust him at this point. Usually his plans, for better or for worse, end up working. So I mean, it seems like they have just decided to put their trust in him, which is good to see. Then there's that whole thing about him telling. I really have to wonder if him going and telling Tobe to not give up is not only because he thinks he's going to be rejected, but because somewhere deep down Hayato's words actually did mean something to him. Even if he maybe can't understand it, maybe he wants to. Maybe somewhere deep down, whether he'll admit it or not, maybe he wants to. And what he's trying to do here is save face a little bit so that if he gets rejected, the whole group won't fall apart because of it. By saying like, what are you going to do if you get rejected? And he's like, I'll keep trying. And he's like, good, keep that mentality. What if somewhere deep down he wanted to help Hayato? Like he actually did, whether he's ever going to admit it or not. Because at this point we've learned Hikigaya, whether he will admit it, he will never admit it. I don't know if we'll ever see him admit it throughout the entire series. But he loves helping people. It's in his nature. It is truthfully just in his nature to help people. Like I said, he's never going to admit it, but it is. We've seen it on several occasions now. Saving Yui's dog, which he literally jumped in front of a car to do. Then there was saving Yukino, which he did. He got angry on Yukino's behalf, and now he's trying to help Tobe here. Whether he will and then there was the whole thing helping Tsurumi. While his method was a little interesting, he still helped her. At the bottom line is he helps people. Whether he's going to admit it or not, he helps a lot of people, and he has helped a lot of people throughout this series, whether it be through the service club or his own plans that he comes up with. Anyway, that whole spiel really came about because of what he did for Tobe, which I think I could be so off base about everything I said, but I think it might boil down to even if he doesn't want to admit it, he wants to help Hayato maintain that friend group, even if he maybe can't understand it himself because he just believes if it falls apart, it's superficial. But somewhere deep down, even if he thinks it's superficial, he wants to help Hayato keep that superficial friend group alive. Does Ebina know what's about to happen here? I can't tell if she knows. That's a very blank face. She is dead silent. I think she knows what's about to happen. That face and that reaction screams, I know what's about to happen here. Oh god. Yeah. Yumiko there. There's one thing all three of them want. So, was that face earlier, and the reason she's been asking about the guy so much, could she tell that this was coming on? Could she tell that Tobe might have been interested in her, and so she was telling Hikigaya to keep up with them, because she wants to see them stay friends? I don't know. I know there's some reason she came to them and asked Hikigaya specifically to keep track of that, and I feel like it has more profound meaning than just because of her gay fantasies. I feel like there's more meaning to that than I think I'm getting at here. That's what Hayato wants. See, look at this. Look at this. He called that relationship superficial earlier. He called them superficial to Hayato's face. He said that if everything falls apart, that is a superficial relationship after this confession. But here he is trying to help save those relationships with every ounce of his being that he possibly can. Like, come on, man. It doesn't get more clear as day when it comes to his character. Oh my god. Woo! Just cut off Tobe. And everybody went dead silent. She's gonna reject him, right? Yep. I ain't gay, but I love this guy. He gave her an out to perfect. Perfect. Oh my god. That whole thing was perfect. Absolutely perfect. Dude, I still have like 6 more minutes to go in this episode. Like 6 more minutes. That was perfect. Absolutely perfect. He gave Ebina an out to indirectly tell Tobe she doesn't want to go out with anybody. So we save Tobe from getting rejected. We keep the friend group alive because things won't get awkward. And all because Hikigaya once again sacrificed himself. Once again, he definitely didn't seem to take Hiratsuka's speech to heart, because he once again sacrificed himself. To keep a superficial friend group alive, he sacrificed himself. For a person who he's been nothing but arguing with recently, in Hayato Hayama, he once again sacrificed himself, sent himself out there to get rejected. It's just so good. It's so damn good. I really do have, the way they animated that too, the way he was like talking and the movements were so fluid. You could really feel the weight of the moment in the way that he moved. Oh, that was so good. That was so good. Everything about that scene was perfect. Hikigaya, for as much as he talked earlier about their superficial relationships, here he is saving them. He literally sacrificed himself once again to save these superficial relationships. I don't think there's more that speaks to Hikigaya as a character than scenes like this. There's nothing more that speaks to him as a character. Just so good. So good. Gave Tobe an out as well, to not get rejected. Yep. Once again, Tobe's just not smart enough to pick up what Hikigaya was doing there for him, but just I don't even have more words to describe how good that was. If the rest of the season is gonna be like this, we're in for one goddamn hell of a ride, man. Dude, the way they're animating that, his movements were so fluid. I loved that. Obviously, Hikigaya doesn't like Ebina. Obviously. He doesn't like anybody right now. But that was so well done. He took into account that Tobe probably wouldn't take it to heart, and that he gave Tobe an out. All of that. Like, he took everything into account. Everything he knows about these people. He put it all into action, and just did that in the spur of the moment. I don't think that was a plan he's been formulating for a while now. At least, not from what I can tell. Maybe he has. But he just thought of he thought of Hayato, he thought of Tobe, he thought of how he thought Ebina, he thought how everybody in that situation would react, and put that plan into action, and succeeded. All at the cost of himself, though. Once again, he put himself out there to get put down. Getting rejected, all of that. That's the one thing that it's working. Things are turning out like, well, I guess, but it's at the cost of Hikigaya. Instead of this time, in episode 12 of last season, Hayato's words were, "Why is it the only way you can do things?" And this time it's, "I knew that was the only way you can do things." And Hayato is the one apologizing this time. Oh, man. It's so good. This show is so good, I swear. That huff, man. That huff had so much emotion in it. Oh, the way they're animating this, the way he's like just walking back to them too. Oh my god, I like feel this scene. I don't know how to describe it better than that. Yukino is like Hayama. I think what she's saying there, because she doesn't understand it herself, the way she literally just said, "I don't understand it myself." She hates seeing him put himself down. Just like Hayama hates seeing him put himself down too. That's why Hayama disagrees so much with the way he does things. Hayama also hates to see Hikigaya put himself down. And it seems like Yukino is feeling the same way, even if she doesn't know how to describe it. Telling him that I hate the way you do things is not to shit on him. It's because they feel bad for him. They hate that he puts himself down like that. Whether like I just said, Yukino doesn't realize it herself, but that's what it is. That's what it is. No reaction from Hikigaya whatsoever. I was literally talking earlier about how we finally had some peace and tranquility with the group. Finally! Finally, and now it's being ripped away! But this is good too. This is peak character development. right here. Peak character development setup right here. So I'm okay with it, I think. Jesus Christ. This animation. This animation. I'm like trying to focus on the scene and like what the characters are saying and how they're like, but the animation looks so good. The movements are so fluid. If they're gonna do every serious moment like this in this show like this, man, just... Maybe it's because it is currently 6 in the morning. Like I said earlier, it's very possible that I'm a little delusional right now. I'm running on like no sleep. But oh my god, this... is it just me or is this like episode fantastic? It genuinely, every aspect of this episode has been amazing. And if they continue like this for the rest of season 2, you'll probably be seeing more hour-long reactions from me. More than likely. I want to get that again because I really want to try and read, because I know they're doing these motions for a reason. These very fluid motions are done for a reason. Whoa. Oh my god, I'm getting, dude, oh my god, I'm getting like, I'm getting chills. You guys have told me countless times that you have to pay attention, not just to what the characters are saying, but the way they're acting. Character movements, character faces, all of it means something. This is Yui's way, okay, putting that aside, because obviously with the Hikigai like moving his hand here, I'm gonna get into that in a minute. I want to get into what Yui just said there. That is Yui's way of saying what Yukino told him in a much lighter way. Yukino told him, I hate the way you do this, and walked off. Yui, obviously, is not going to be that harsh. She's like, please don't do stuff like that again. It's just, oh, man. I gotta get that again. Even Hikigai is, like, surprised by the way she said that. Someone thinks to say the way there's no way to make things convenient for everyone. The only option is to find a compromise. But why does that compromise have to come at the expense of yourself? And as I'm saying all this, it hits me. I'm just rationalizing. This is the kind of deception I hated more than anything in the world. Whoa, that hit like a fucking truck. The way that soundtrack kicked in, it just, her words so full of emotion. Oh, I didn't even really get to try and analyze what she was saying. I was just so caught up in the moment. Jesus Christ. Generally speaking, what she was saying goes directly back to what Hiratsuka said last season. You should understand that there's people who hurt when you do this to yourself. Yui had tried to be a little bit more passive about telling him that, but in the end there, she broke down because she cares about him. Man, oh man, it's so good. It's so good. Per usual, with this show, it is so incredibly in-depth. More than I could probably ever begin to even scratch the surface of. I just hit my mic, sorry about that. More than I could even begin to scratch the surface of. So if I'm missing details from these scenes, please tell me. Please. Because it's so good. It's so good. I don't want to miss even the slightest of details. Of course, with that, if any of the scenes are going to be explored more later, talked about more later, which this show doesn't tend to do. This show tends to give you one scene, one time to analyze it, and it doesn't typically ever go back to it. You just kind of have to roll with it because you know that scene affected these characters. They might not bring it up again, but they're changed because of said scene. If there's a scene like that, and I miss something in it, of course I would love to hear so I can understand the characters' mentalities and things like that going forward, but obviously, if it's going to be explained later, I'll hear it then. He's deceiving himself. You should give more thought to how other people feel. Like, it's exactly what I'm saying. It is exactly what I'm saying. How is it that he understands so much? He understands so much. So much so that he was able to, like went on a whole spiel earlier, he was able to discern how Tobei would react, how Ebino would react, how Hayato wanted to save his friends. He took everything into account and came at the conclusion to sacrifice himself. But what Yui's saying here is, how do you understand all of that, but you can't understand that what you're doing is hurting other people? He understands so much about these people around him who he likes to act like he doesn't even like. He understands so much about them, but he doesn't understand the simple fact that when he does things like this, it hurts the people who care for him. Hayato, Yui, Yukino, all of them, and even more like Hiratsuka from last season. It hurts these people when he does these things. Man, I felt myself getting passionate there for a second. Jesus Christ. I agree so much with Yui's words. I agree so much. It's so it's so good. This just might be my favorite episode of the entire show. And I've said that with every passing episode almost, because it feels like every episode makes it its goal to one up the other. This is one of if not the best episode in the show so far up until this point. It's so damn good. Yep. She can't. I'm gonna pause again. Her saying, "I can't stand that." She can't stand seeing him hurt himself. She can't stand it. I agree. I totally agree. And that shaky breath there, the voice actors and voice actresses are killing it with this show. They kill it every time. Especially Hikigai's voice actor. Kills it every single time. It's just, you can feel it. You can feel it through their voice acting. It's so good. Oh, hello, Ebina. Yep. I knew there was something deeper. I knew there was something deeper that I wasn't fully grasping. I goddamn knew it. I knew that she wanted him to get closer so she could keep them all friends. I knew it. But I couldn't tell if I was grasping it far enough. I'm gonna shut up because she's gonna explain it right now, but I just couldn't tell if I was grasping far enough what she wanted or if I was still only on that surface level. She knew all along that it was coming. Yep. Who don't matter to you. I can appreciate a person who can say things he doesn't mean so easily. Exactly like Hayato. Exactly. Ugh. God damn, man! Every scene of this episode is hitting me like a truck. Christ. Once again, I'm gonna go back and watch it again. This has been probably the most detailed character development packed episode of the entire series. The entire series up until this point. Like, it is beyond jam-packed. And so I want to get everything there. Generally speaking, I understand all of this. I understand it all. It makes perfect sense. She wanted Hikagai to get close to them so that she could keep herself at a distance. If a new guy comes in, maybe she can push them away a little bit so she could stop Tobei's reaction before it happened. Reaction? Tobei's confession before it happened. That I all get. This line hit me. This, and then what Hikagai said towards the end hit like a truck, and then obviously her line about saying she hates herself. Some real heavy hitting this episode. Oh my god. And although Hikigaya just jokes about it, he doesn't like tell her, no, you're not messed up or anything like that. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. It's just, it's so good. It's so good, dude. He didn't sugarcoat a single damn thing. It's just that one, those like 3 lines of banter have so much packed into them. So much packed into them. It's insane. Cause she says, I sort of like the way you can be so honest with people you don't care about. And then he says, I like that about myself too. But then she's like, I also like how you can say things so easily that you don't mean. Oh my god. It's just, dude. I sort of like the way you can be so honest with people that you don't care about. And he says, what a coincidence. And then he says, I like that about myself too. And then she follows it up by saying, I also like how you can say things so easily that you don't mean. Which I think is her calling him out. The fact that he may not mean that statement he said there about how he likes that about himself. I think she just called him out and is calling his bluff that he doesn't actually like that about himself. And just like this, Hikigaya might have made a friend. This is what I've been craving from this show. The first season was really to build up Hikigaya, Yukino, and Yui. To set their parameters, have them go through the drama they went through. I think the second season's gonna involve a lot of characters like Ebina a lot more. Ebina feels so much more real to me now. So much more complex, so much more fleshed out. All of the above. She feels like such a more tangible character behind all the gay freakouts and whatever. Behind all that, I feel like there is a person here now. That's what I feel now that I've seen scenes like this. Then she repeats the same kind of thing that Hayato said to Hikigaya earlier. That's why I hate myself. Yeah, I hid away and put up a front. I feel like I was about to say bushwhacked. Who the hell says bushwhacked? I feel like I'm being slapped in the face again after rewatching that whole scene again. Like, I feel like it was another slap across the face. Okay. This was, like I said, my favorite episode of the series to date. There's no debating it now in my mind. After seeing the end of it, this is my favorite episode of the entire series. And I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more of that statement to come throughout this season. Don't you worry, there will be a lot more of my favorite episodes to come. This was fantastic, though. I think I analyzed my heart out earlier. Per usual, I gave a whole spiel about it earlier. If there's anything spoiler related to any of what you're going to tell me, please don't tell me. But if it's something I maybe misunderstood about something a certain character said, or way they acted, something I misunderstood, please let me know. Because going forward, like I said, I want to be able to go forward with the best knowledge available to me about these characters. Because in that same vein, if I have that knowledge, I am able to analyze and read into them so much better than I would be without that information. Sure, I can go back and watch the show a second time, but that's not the same as a first-time reaction. Noticing things on like a first-time reaction and noticing them on a second time are night and day difference. A first-time reaction, when you come to the conclusion about something or feel like you get something right, a theory you created, it is a feeling of gratification I don't feel very often, which is why I love a show like this. Because when I get a theory right, I'm like, oh my god, I wasn't expecting that. It's just, I don't know. I've been talking for so long at this point. You guys are probably so tired of hearing me. But yeah, I think I analyzed more than enough throughout this episode. Anything I missed, let me know. Spoiler, don't let me know. It's as simple as that. But I think that is going to wrap it up for my reaction to Oregairu 2, Episode 2. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I hope you all have a good day.